Hello, everyone. I'm your screen jockey, Justin.
And I'm your screen jockey, Chris.
And I am a huge Formula One nerd. So we are going to watch the trailer to F1. Starting 3, 2, 1. Hi, Brad.
So you like straight talk?
Straight as an arrow. No sugar.
Why are you here, Sonny?
Wow.
Top Gun Maverick.
When you look in the mirror, you see this rough and tumble, old school cowboy. Doesn't take orders, goes his own way, huh?
Be still, my
Lone
heart.
wolf.
Looks like they're able to put cameras all over these cars now.
Well, I've news for you.
News for you, Paddy.
Formula One is a team sport. It always was.
Ooh, that's
Listen,
sexy.
let's
Ooh,
get
what a
this
fun
straight.
edit that was.
We all lose our jobs if you can't pull off a miracle.
No pressure. None.
The only question here is, why did Sonny Hayes come back to F1?
I think it's really wonderful that Apex are giving second chances to the elderly.
Oh, he's coming out of retirement?
It's all right. You just wait. I'm quicker than you.
You're making a mistake, thinking that I'm just going to be some grateful kid who'll bend the knee to an old timer.
I never should
Okay.
have pulled you into this.
Old versus the new clashing out on the
That's what it
racetrack.
looks like.
Okay.
That's the other driver. You say he was old, he not that old. That's a handsome man right there.
Well, yeah.
That's the
right.
McLaren factory in the background.
Oh, that's cool.
Just gotta hope for some lucky breaks.
That's where they were shooting that stuff.
Hope it's not a strategy.
Anything else, Professor?
Drive fast. Ever seen a miracle?
Not yet. How do you think I'd feel if you die on the track?
3 laps. 3 laps is a lifetime.
Oh, there could be a red flag with 3 laps left. Oh my god, this is just like...
What a shot. All right. Justin, holy shit.
Yeah, right?
That's a movie I'm
So it's-
excited for now.
Yeah, it's Top Gun F1.
Yeah, and Brad Pitt, I've really been enjoying a lot of his movie choices lately. Moneyball has like risen to the top of one of my favorite movies of all time now. He's just so good in
Moneyball.
that.
Yeah, Jonah.
And
Jonah's great in that too. As a sidekick, the two of those together work really well.
Really well, yeah, and they did. And this is just, I don't know, there's so much. He doesn't actually have a lot going on in this trailer, but there's just like charisma like oozing out of the scenes he's in. It looks polished. This looks fresh. I mean, once again, with all of our miniature cameras and 360 cameras, we're getting way more intense shots. And even if this movie isn't the greatest in story-wise, I can't wait to go and see some of these visuals.
Yeah, well, so they're going to take everything that they learned with Top Gun Maverick, which was when they were able to detach the lens from the body of the camera. Then they can kind of, all you need is cable. And so you can put this lens anywhere, attach it anywhere inside the cockpit, and then the body of the camera is someplace else. So that's how they were able to put 7 cameras in the cockpit when they were shooting Top Gun Maverick.
I did not know that. That's incredible.
And they had to learn how to do all that stuff. And so they're applying that to Formula One because ultimately this is the problem that they're trying to solve, that people have been trying to solve forever with film, which is how do you show speed to an audience? If you go back to like Martin Scorsese's The Aviator,
You're right,
what was
exactly.
Howard Hughes trying
There's
to
no
do at the
clouds in the
beginning?
background.
They waited forever. Clouds! Clouds! Because there's no relative motion. And so with Top Gun Maverick, one of the things I know they spent a lot of time like researching and studying, which is how do you show the adrenaline of speed to an audience that's essentially sitting in a chair in a movie theater. How do you do that? And you just got to learn how, all the little tricks, and then you apply that. So they learned all that stuff. And they're like, well, we can do the same thing on a track, which hasn't ever really been done great. We all love Jerry Bruckheimer. He produced Days of Thunder because he did.
Ford versus Ferrari was like the first one that started kind of like getting closer.
Yeah, but that was all Le Mans that was all like, that wasn't that was Le Mans, and then Emilia, I think, was in that. That wasn't
I'm
Formula
just saying,
One.
racing. I'm just talking racing in general and the way they're doing.
Oh,
with,
I was just
yeah.
thinking about Ferrari, the movie Ferrari, but Ford versus Ferrari is Le Mans, yeah. So, but not like, yeah, but that's not Formula
No, but it was
One
practical. They were
speeds.
not relying on CG to show the speed. They were using the cameras effectively, and that's why I was really referring to that. This
okay.
movie
I got
feels
you.
like one of those things I kind of need to go and see in the theater, because right now, just listening on these great headphones that I have, this didn't even sound the way that I know it probably will be in an IMAX theater, rumbling.
Oh, yeah,
I think I'm gonna have to go see this one.
It'll be
in
a theater
Yeah.
experience. Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. I have one last joke, though. I just remembered this because, it's a Brad Pitt movie. See, I think of it as the Formula One movie starring Brad Pitt. And most people are going to think, oh, it's the Brad Pitt movie where he's racing cars, right? I have an anecdote. This happened when my wife and I went and saw Inglourious Bastards. Okay, at that point, Quentin Tarantino was a pretty big name by that point. He'd
100%.
done Kill Bill.
Yes.
He was a household name, almost like Steven Spielberg something. If you pulled someone over and said, do you know the name Quentin Tarantino? They would like, hey, yeah, he makes movies, right? The average person could say that. So we were sitting in the theater, my wife and I, we were discussing this, and I was like, actually, I think some people are finally going to show up because it's a Quentin Tarantino movie outside of like nerds like me. And she was like, no, they're here because of the Brad Pitt. And I was like, but he's barely in this. Like, it's a huge ensemble. And she's like, no, they're here for Brad Pitt. I was like, I disagree with you. So my wife and I are going round and round about this. A woman comes in, walks down our aisle, sits down, not next to Lindsay, but my wife, but then the next one over, and we're like, she leans in and goes, is this the Brad Pitt movie? And I was like, oh my God, you're kidding. And Lindsay was so vindicated over that. We could not have planned it any better. So yes, everyone's going to go see the Brad Pitt movie, but I am a huge Formula One nerd. I've seen every race since 2000. I have the year in review. I have every year in review since the 70s. Dude, I could start an F1 channel and do essays about that. I'm such a nerd. So it's cool that they're finally doing this.
This is the first Formula One. I mean, was Gran Turismo wasn't Formula One, right? That's different. The movie Gran Turismo.
Rush,
I haven't seen.
Probably the last Formula One, but that was vintage. That was
Hemsworth that did that one, right? Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
And
people
Daniel
say it's
Bruhl.
amazing.
Ron Howard directed that.
I just
too.
haven't
It's so
checked it
good.
out.
I have it on Blu-ray. It's
Can I borrow
so
it?
good. But if you want to see like class, because one of the things about F1 is the history of F1, and because I'm a history nerd, I love studying the history of F1, which I spent a lot of time doing. And so that's one of the things that we love about it is the history and tradition of the sport
then what
or
do you
whatever.
think about
and so
getting a chance to watch a
vintage ones are
modern take on it then, rather than always nostalgia?
Which I love
and,
because I love that. And I'm glad that they're able to do that properly now, because that is a thing, is how do you show, man, Formula One speeds are a different thing. It's not just the speed, it's the way it's
turn
able to turn corners. It's the G-forces are
We saw a small clip. I mean, the
you're
guy had that
basically
thing around his head. I'm assuming they were testing his G-force strength in that clip. So I think we're going to see a little bit of them pushing their bodies to the limit. And that's why the racers,
Yeah,
it's
they
not
have
about
to.
the
They
cars.
have
the
to
racers
train their
have
neck.
to be top tier athletes to handle that. Yeah.
they do now.
It's exciting.
They didn't used to be. They just used to be burly men. You know what I mean? Like someone who would get out of the car and that someone would hand them a beer and then a bottle of champagne and a bunch of flowers and everyone. Yeah. So it's come a long way than what it used to be before, but I'm super psyched for it. I think an F1 is sponsoring it. It's like what they did with Netflix. I remember when Bernie Ecclestone, who is the godfather of Formula One for decades, sold the rights to Formula One to a, conglomerate, entity sort of thing. The next year, I was like, I'm going to see what they do with this, because the US market is the one market that they were really missing. It's like soccer. It was a global sport, except for in the US.
Because NASCAR is bigger here
Formula
locally,
was
right?
like that.
Yeah.
Because it got NASCAR, and that's fine, whatever. But it's a new market if you think about, global entertainment.
It just reminds me of Talladega
what
Nights
they
a little bit,
did,
the joke of how the Formula One guy comes to race NASCAR. Yeah.
Sacha Baron Cohen, I always think about it's funny. It's true, and it can be super pretentious, don't get me wrong, but because they're so nerdy about it, it's like they're more like scientists. They're like
Right,
NASA
yeah.
scientists.
And I'm interested to see more of the
trying to
team
suction a
aspect.
car to the
I mean, it
ground.
looks like we are focusing on this rivalry story. And correct me if I'm wrong. You said that this is not based on a true story, so this is a fictional tale.
Okay, no, but it looks like he's
Right,
coming out of retirement. It looks like, they lost a driver in the team. You got to have 2 drivers in the team. So they're bringing someone back. It looks like Javier Bardem is either the team principal
owner,
or
yeah,
like the
right.
money behind the team principal, that sort of thing. And he is the one who has talked Brad Pitt into coming filling his seat. He's probably a multi-world champion, that sort of thing. Michael Schumacher did that in the 2000s. He won with a bunch of titles with Ferrari. Then he retired. Then he came back with Mercedes for a couple of years. And it could be sort of a little bit of this. And then obviously you look at the other driver and you can't help but think of Lewis Hamilton, who is a consultant on this. And Lewis Hamilton is a 7-time
Look at you.
world
I mean,
champion
the way
now.
that you're just name dropping these people, I have
He's
no
like
idea
the
who you're
biggest
talking
driver in
about.
the
We're gonna have to
world.
I'll make sure I find some photos for this
I
edit.
go on
Sounds
and
like you
on.
could, man. Well, I'm excited. I can tell you're excited. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I'll go see it. Probably. Opening night.
Okay, cool. Well, I guess this is one of those movies I feel like we're going to go see it together in the theater. We'll sit down and have our little review. So look forward to that one, guys. June 27th is right around the corner, so I'm excited. It's going to be a fun summer at the theater.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So if you're excited, just like Justin is, about this F1 movie, drop your comments. What do you think this movie is going to be really about? Are you excited for it? Not looking forward to it? F1 fan, not an F1 fan? Share your thoughts, your comments, your opinions. This is the place to do that.
I want to hear what everyone has to say, so leave your comments below, okay? I really appreciate it. And go watch some of our other videos.
Yeah,
that are
and if
trending
you
right
enjoyed
now.
this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It helps more than you think. And if you like this and you want more of it, hit that subscribe button. I have been your Screen Jockey, Chris.
And I'm Screen Jockey Justin.
And we'll catch you in the next one.
Drive fast. Ever seen a miracle?
Not yet. How do you think I'd feel if you die on the track?